Are you planning to buy a property? Did you know on average in Montreal there would be an extra $7,520 extra cost added to your expense? Are you at all familiar or understand what the land transfer tax is and how much you will pay? Well, today, in less than 10 minutes, you will get all the information you need to know about this topic and most importantly, how you could buy a home in Montreal without paying land transfer tax. My name is Aguinaga, your Montreal real estate expert. Why am I an expert? Well, I've been working as a real estate broker since 2008 and have had the opportunity to work with over 1,100 families. Personally, I own over 75 doors, and with my management company, Plex Doctor, I manage 75 other units. So trust me, I can give you the information you are looking for. Today, I want to explain what land transfer / welcome tax is, when you should expect to pay it, how is it calculated, when is it considered a luxury tax, and let's not forget how you could buy a home in Montreal without paying land transfer tax. In this video, I'll be using the terms welcome tax and land transfer tax interchangeably as they refer to the same thing. So let's get started. What is welcome tax? Welcome tax is a tax levied by the municipality as a revenue stream. The municipality uses the funds as part of their budget in order to make improvements and general maintenance to the municipality. When do I pay welcome tax? Officially, municipalities say that you have 30 days to pay the bill from the billing date, and you should receive the bill within 30 to 60 days of your purchase. However, in practice, I've seen it take over a year before some clients receive their bill. I always recommend reaching out to the city if you haven't received your bill after 6 months. Like with anything, sometimes the bill just gets lost in the mail. Now, if you purchase a new construction, it could take even longer, and it's not uncommon to wait over a year in this situation. Land transfer tax is calculated on a sliding scale based on the higher of the purchase price or the municipal valuation. If you paid $500,000 for your property, but the municipality has it evaluated at $600,000, you will pay the tax on the $600,000 amount. Let's break down Montreal's 2024 welcome tax calculation. On the portion up to $58,900, you pay 0.5%. On the next portion up to $294,600, you pay 1%. On the following portion up to $552,300, you pay 1.5%. On the next portion up to $1,104,700, you pay 2%. On the following threshold up to $2,136,500, you pay 2.5%. On the next bracket, up to $3,113,000, you pay 3.5%. And finally, on any amount over $3,113,000, you pay 4%. Here's an example of the calculation on a purchase of $700,000 property. So we have $58,900 at 0.5%. That gives us $294.50. We then have $235,700 at 1%, that gives us $2,357. The next portion is of $257,700 at 1.5% for a total portion of $3,865 with 50 cents. And finally, we have a tranche of $147,700 at 2%, which is $2,954. So we have to add all of these amounts up. And in this example, the amount payable for property transfer duties in 2024 would be $9,471. It's important to note that every municipality can choose how much they charge in land transfer tax. For example, if we go off-island to the borough of Longueuil, the calculation is as follows. The first tranche, up to $58,900, is billed at 0.5%. The second tranche, up to $294,600, is billed at 1%. The third tranche, up to $589,200, is billed at 1.5%. And anything above $589,200 is billed at 3%. The same $700,000 purchase price in Longueuil would cost you $10,394 in property transfer duties. That is $923 more than in Montreal. Now, obviously, if the amounts were to be a lot higher, Montreal would pay a significantly higher amount, so it really depends on the neighborhood. The next question I often get is there a luxury tax in Quebec? Well, that depends on how you look at it. I would say that yes, the steep climb in cost at the higher price brackets is a type of luxury tax that's being levied. Each municipality will have their own thresholds. As we saw in the above examples, in Longueuil, anything over $589,200 is at the top tax tier, while in Montreal, you would have to be over $1.1 million before being charged at 2.5%. Please remember, each city can choose their own tax scale. Be sure to consult with the city to confirm their welcome tax scale before purchasing the property. Now here's the answer many of you have probably been waiting for. How can you buy a home in Montreal without paying the welcome tax? The only hacks I know to avoid paying welcome tax in Montreal is if you qualify for any of the following exemptions. First, the transfer of a building to an ascendant or descendant indirect line, such as a father selling a home to his son or a grandmother to her grandson. Second, transfers between spouses, whether married or common law couples, as defined in the Act respecting duties on transfers of immovables, under certain conditions, obviously. Third, when the transferor is a natural person, i.e. an individual, and the transferee is the legal person, i.e. a corporate entity. If immediately after the transferor owns at least 90% of the shares of the capital stock and full voting rights. In the end, I think the most important thing is to consider this extra cost and be prepared. This information is obviously important for you to understand and to consider, but if you're working with a knowledgeable real estate broker, don't worry. They will help you out calculating an estimate and consider it on your closing costs. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You can book a call with me anytime with a link that you can find in the description. That is all for today. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or topics you would like me to consider for a future video. Thank you so much for watching.